Yo, what's up, everybody? Um, we back for. Oh, okay. We're back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. Sorry, there was something in the private chat. I just had to read real quick. We're back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. As you can see, the title AFC North has quarterbacks, which is true. They got quarterbacks. They got a lot of name recognition. Okay, and we're gonna jump on that. Because Russell Wilson, we've seen the best of him, we've seen the worst of him. Deshaun Watson, seen the best of him, seen the worst, and seen injuries. Joe Burrow, seen the best and seen injuries. And Lamar Jackson, I think his ceiling is going to go to a whole different level. But let's go ahead and introduce everybody. That direction. The quarterback who set up this whole thing, put it together technology-wise. Trish TV, what's up, man?
Yo, what's going on? I'm a little blown, like I said, because I don't like when people do last minute cancellations or productions, but we're gonna make this thing right. We're gonna be good. So all is well. As my
Hey, man. Hey, listen, man. We can hold it down. I understand last minute cancellations, but we can hold it down. Down south, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, man. What's up? What's up?
The Texas Rattlesnake, what's up, man? I'm in the place to be, man. I'm ready to talk about some AFC North, man.
And I did not introduce myself, but my bad. So I'm Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing. As you can see on my little subtitle, it says Double A Gap Blitz. You know I'm defensive minded, baby. I'm defensive minded. And today we have a guest who, Eric, I'm gonna pass it to you to introduce him.
All right. This is my brother from another mother. We grew up together, man. Went to the same church, been knowing each other since, man, I think we about 7 years old, I think. Went to high school. He's my high school classmate. Been my boy for years. He is a dedicated Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He gonna talk a little Pittsburgh Steelers and some AFC North. Please welcome again my brother from another mother, Mr. Mac Mitchell, Esquire.
Yeah,
what's
boy.
good, fellas? What's good, man? Thank y'all for having me. But yeah, let me just ask y'all: the guy that backed out, was that a Browns fan?
Ravens.
All of a sudden? Oh, okay. Because I would say Browns, they've been backing up all of a sudden in the playoffs and the Super Bowl and all the
Shots fired.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, man, that Cleveland Browns franchise has been through a lot. And even the original one, especially under Marty Schottenheimer with the fumble, the drive, and then
some good teams, man. Back
good teams.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick took over as a head coach, and Vernon Kosar as the quarterback, and then next thing you know, you move to Baltimore, and you're gone for 4 years, and you come back, and Baltimore has its own franchise, and Cleveland's back to having their own franchise, so it's a whole lot. But let's dive into something real quick. Mac, I think you might be excited about this. I think that's what you said back in the green room on Monday. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin got a 3-year contract extension. In our lifetimes, we've only seen 3 head coaches in Pittsburgh: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. First of all, and before we get started with you, Mac, what I want to know is, what is the hiring criteria in Pittsburgh, man? Because for these guys to be able to hang on to a head coach as long as they do,
They
what
don't
is
quit on
the
their coaches. That's
hiring
the thing.
criteria? What are the interview questions they are asking in Pittsburgh? Okay, what are they
I,
asking? Because they must. I mean, to only have three head coaches since 1969. I think that's when Chuck North first took over in Pittsburgh. Like that's amazing. That's fantastic. That's
that's unheard of. It
unheard
just,
of
I mean, it
in
doesn't happen.
today's NFL.
Yeah, yeah, man, and to keep it going, because I'll be perfectly honest with, even I was like last year's like everybody kept saying, look, man, he hasn't had a losing season, hasn't had a losing season. I'm like, look, that's not the standard. Standard. He says it himself, which I think every fan or whatever that'll win your heart. Like, look, that's not the standard. We need to be winning such and such. And not only that, the guy's just a great coach. Everybody wants to come and play for him. I think that the hard seasons and the things that he's kind of guided the team through, he deserves it, man. He deserves 3 more years, especially 3 more years in a reloaded roster and all that. But that just shows the Steelers organization as far as like loyalty and
Yes,
as far as expectations and that shows you
yes,
how long that family and everybody else has been the majority holders and running this because they know there's uptowns, there's upsides, downsides. So that has to give a coach or a player any person that's part of an organization a tremendous amount of just confidence and amount of loyalty and amount of look, man, we're gonna get through this when we get there or whatever. So I mean, you got to give that organization just a huge pat on the back for just keeping three coaches in what 60, 70 years, something like that, man. It's just that's incredible.
that no, that's
That's
incredible.
incredible.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, and Eric, I'm gonna let you go next. That Rooney family is probably one of my favorite groups of owners
Mhm.
in the NFL. They own,
Mhm.
they run that Steelers organization. I love that family, man. I have high
Mhm.
respect for them, man. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say what you were saying. You can say what you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they believe in consistency.
Yes,
All the way. That's why they're one of the few franchises that have six Lombardis because they don't just throw their hands up and quit when something ain't working right.
Mhm.
They don't do that. You got so many franchises. They switch coaches like they change draws.
oh
Mhm.
my
You know,
Mhm.
goodness,
Mhm.
somebody goes. I don't know 7-9. Oh, we got to get rid of it.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like no,
You
no.
know,
Either,
yeah.
you know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. E. I
but
wanted to add some. I apologize.
but I have a lot of respect, because I'm a fan of a franchise that pretty much is storied. But you got to take your hat off to the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the
Mhm.
continuity and the consistency. And like man, and I said it before. I think a few years back when we were talking about the AFC North with Pittsburgh, if they for you.
yes,
They loyal. They loyal to
yes,
their personnel. They're loyal to their
yes,
coaches. If
yes.
you out there doing it for them, they not gonna let you walk out the door. You're like,
Nope,
no, how much this gonna take to get you to stay here? Because we
exactly.
like what
Mhm.
you're doing.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and those three coaches that they've had since '69, all three of them have won at least one Lombardi. I mean, they got it. That's they the poster children for continuity for doing it right.
Mhm.
And yeah, Pittsburgh is down right now, but I mean, it ain't gonna be much longer before they turn around. They got a few things to figure out, but I respect them for their stick to itiveness, if that's a word, because they like we're not gonna fire you because you had a man season. Like some franchises do that, you know. So yeah, man, I, I ain't got nothing but respect for the franchise for
No,
that.
definitely, and
Yeah.
especially that Rooney family. They the ones who created the Rooney Rule.
Mhm.
As far
Yeah.
as trying to get more minorities
Mhm.
interviewed, at least so that way they have a better chance of being hired because
Mhm.
we go through our waves of having minorities as an actual head coach um in the NFL. Sometimes it's as many as 4 or 5, or sometimes it's as few as one or two. So but the minorities definitely need to always continue to be interviewed. The Rooney family, they if I was learning to be an owner of a franchise, that is one probably the first group I would talk to on how to run the franchise successfully would be the Rooney family.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's this they as far as organizationally, you know, how you have some organizations that are dysfunctional as all get out.
Yeah.
You never hear in the same sentence dysfunction in Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nope.
Well, well, we've had some players and some instances where,
Yeah,
but for
Yeah, yeah,
overall
yeah,
organization wise,
but
we
yeah.
don't have that.
Overall, I'm talking
Mac,
Right,
about
Mac,
overall.
overall, we don't have that.
Mac,
We're not talking
Mac.
about the Dan Snyder Redskin slash Commanders.
Yeah, right, right,
You
yeah,
know, we're
yeah.
not
You're
talking
right,
about stuff like that. Y'all don't
right.
have those issues.
That
You
wasn't
know,
even
I'm sorry,
necessary, Eric.
Tristan.
That wasn't even necessary.
I'm sorry, Tristan. But you know I'm telling the truth though.
Yeah, nah, you're right, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
Listen, Mac. Listen, every franchise is going to have a bad apple type player on the roster. I don't
Oh
care.
yeah.
I don't care what background you have. Like New England under Bill Belichick, you had Aaron Hernandez out here shooting up everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, so I mean, you know,
No, I mean, no, I agree. That loyalty is wonderful, and I think if it's earned, is definitely warranted. But I do think that, and we saw last season where we held on to a certain offensive coordinator a little bit too long. Well, I don't. He shouldn't have been in that position anyway. But other than that, man, we have a great team, great franchise, and you can hear it in the players coming over from free agency and all that. It's a wonderful. It's just a pleasure playing for Tomlin and the organization is night and day when it came from. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna let's go ahead and get into these picks. What we normally do is that um we talk about the division as a whole, and we start with who we think is going to finish fourth. We go all the way around till everybody's given their fourth place team and the reasons why they think so. Um, and then we go third and second, then first. And what we always do is we give the nod to our guests first. So we're gonna start with you, Mac. What do you who do you have as your fourth place team in this division, and tell us why?
Now, look, let me speak with a caveat with this because I've only really been paying attention to the Steelers and splashy funds. First of all, I think it'll be Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to finish fourth. I don't see what they've done in the off. I don't see what they've done in the off season to really upgrade, to really keep up with everything that's going on. And I could be wrong. Like I said, this is sky level. I just think that each of the teams are moving on, making some really good picks, and I haven't seen what Cincinnati's. I know they're gonna get some players back from injury and all that, but yeah, I see them finishing fourth.
wow.
Okay,
Whew.
that man speaking his
Man,
mind.
listen, I ain't gonna lie, man. Listen, man. I came out of
I
my
threw you
shoes
for
on
one.
that one. I came out of my
Hey
shoes.
man,
Like, yeah, Cincinnati in fourth.
I do,
Mhm.
I do. Now, I'm gonna say
Now,
this. I think fourth in our division is going to still be better than a lot of other teams, though.
oh no, of course.
I really think this division is. I think the elevation. I think you guys are going to see a real battle in this one with some teams that are playing above. Because what we have the NFC East this year, so I really do see us doing pretty well the whole division. But anyway, I do see Cincinnati finishing fourth.
No, and I can't be mad at you because you lost. Well, not you, but they lost Tyler Boyd, their wide receiver. You got two receivers holding out, and Higgins and Chase.
Chase.
I don't know if they drafted a receiver or not. I'm assuming they did, but even still, like I don't think it's gonna be enough right now. I don't. Did they add anybody?
That's my
Um,
point. No, go ahead.
Give me a second. Yo, y'all go ahead, keep talking. I'm saying
yeah, I just.
I lost my screen. I had
Yeah,
all of that on
Off the
one.
top of my head, I think they've been pretty stagnant in the off season. I can't remember completely. I don't have in front of me who they drafted, I haven't heard of any splashy trades or anything to counter what the other teams are doing, which is going to be important. Because
And
I'm thinking the other teams in the league or in the division are kind of gearing up to kind of play. I think so to address some of their needs and all that. And I think one of the big things in our conference is going to be ball control. So the way I've seen it going, and I don't really see them doing much to counter that from what I could tell you.
yeah, because I mean, they probably just trying to bank on getting Chase re-signed. They probably didn't think Higgins was going to stay out as long as he has. They want Joe Burrow back from injury, and
Hmm.
I get that part. But
Hmm.
like, uh, they lost Joe Mixon at running back to Houston
Hmm.
and replaced him with Zach Moss, which is to me is a downgrade. I'm looking at the roster now. Uh, yeah, it's not. It's not. I mean, now the defensive coordinator has gotten the best out of this defense, but I don't think it's something that you just sit there and do backflips about. And honestly, now when I think about and look at the roster, I really can't be mad at you for saying having them in fourth place. Eric, who do you want next to go fourth for to do their fourth place?
You?
Whew. Man, this is gonna be tough, man, because Cleveland went to the playoffs. Cincinnati can't be a playoff team with a return of Joe Burrow. Um, Pittsburgh, I don't know what's going to happen in Pittsburgh at the quarterback position. I think that's the main thing that has me nervous about Pittsburgh is just what's going to happen at the quarterback position. I'm assuming Russell Wilson's going to start and maybe bounce back, but I'm almost getting tired of waiting for him to bounce back. So if I'm going to put anybody in fourth place, and it's only because of the quarterback position uncertainty, I think right now I'm gonna have to put Pittsburgh at number four.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mac, but I just
You
I just
lost it,
don't
man. And you just,
I
I'm
don't know
telling you.
I don't know what Russell Wilson's going to do.
I tell
Okay,
you what he will do. He's gonna do more than Trubisky, and he's gonna do more than any other ones we had.
hey,
If we had the numbers he had last year, if we had the numbers he had last year, we probably would have been competing for winning our division. We don't need him to win the game. We just need him not to lose it. That's it.
hey, listen. I'm not mad at you for saying that he's going to do more than Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. I don't doubt you on that. My problem is I don't know who you are getting. I don't know if you're getting Russell Wilson back in his best Seattle days, or are you getting Russell Wilson that's been up and down struggling recently these last couple seasons? That's my problem.
I got you. I got
And if for some reason he's not starting and you're starting Justin Fields, what's Justin Fields going to do? See what I'm saying? So um, I'm on pause right now for this quarterback position in Pittsburgh, and that's my only issue because you got a good running back, you got a good
two,
receiver. Yeah, you do got two good running backs. You got a good receiver. Um,
two.
I like your defense, but Hayward is starting to get a little long in the tooth. We'll see what happens with that, but it's really the quarterback position.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I have I'm sorry, bro. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers last until we same reasons Brandon talked about. It's concern about which Russell Wilson are we getting. Now I do hear what you're saying about you don't need Russell Wilson to win for you. You just need him to not lose it. And that's true. Um, I think you got a good running game. The defense is still lights out, as long as TJ Watt is there. Um, but I think that the other three teams, because I said last year that this was probably going to be the best division in football because you had, if I'm not mistaken, you had 3 teams make the playoffs out of this division last year.
Mm-hmm.
De-
Yeah,
Definitely two. Definitely two.
There's
yeah.
three.
It
Oh,
was, it
you
was,
mean this year?
I believe it was 3.
There's three.
Yeah,
Steelers, we made it. Ravens
Cleveland
and the
and
Browns.
yeah, yeah. So, um, that's not saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to stink the place up. That's not what I'm saying. I want to be clear on that. But because there's some other predictions we made in past shows, when I say they're going to be fourth place in their division, that means they're going to be unwiped ass. But that's not what I'm saying about this division because this is one of the strongest divisions in football.
No, no,
Um,
no doubt, no doubt.
yeah, when you play these teams, you've been in a fight. Okay, I mean, hell, I want to say, yeah, my team played all 4 of these teams last year and only beat one of them. So, so
That was a
you know,
bad day for us too. That was a real bad
yeah.
day for us.
So, yeah. So, I mean, but I do have Pittsburgh last for basically all the reasons that Brandon mentioned. So, but it could easily swing between who I have in fourth and who I have in third. So,
Okay.
Tristan,
Yeah, so I am man. I think I told myself that this was going to be one of the more challenging divisions to rank because they're all. I feel like they're all going to be good. Like I feel like this would be a division where all of them will have like a winning record, really close to it. I This is my reasoning. I'm going to make it sound plausible, but I'm really just kind of going with a gut, and I'm going to say the Browns. And the reason why I'm going to say the Browns is because when Joe Burrow's healthy, now albeit this is all subject to change. Like I feel like all of this would be a pencil in for me. Like all of these would be pencils. Now, if everything works out with his 2 wide receivers and all that, a healthy Joe Burrow, the Bengals are automatically in the playoffs with a healthy Joe Burrow. And from what I've heard from Cincinnati, everything's looking good, everything's smooth. It's just a matter of figuring out what's going on with the wide receiver contracts. Um, the Joe Mixon thing does. I feel like they're going to feel that a little more than they think of not having Joe Mixon in the backfield with him. Um, but the reason why I have the Browns last is because I, how y'all feel about Russell Wilson is how I feel about Deshaun Watson.
Not
When
mad
we
at you.
saw when we saw
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson, we didn't know
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't Houston Texans Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that could be, just because of the layoff or whatever, and then he got hurt. So he ain't
Mm-mm.
really. This is like a full off season where he's healthy, he's in the system, you know what I'm saying? He's comfortable. So we might see the old Deshaun Watson. Plus he's younger than Russell Wilson. The thing that gives me a little more confidence with Russell Wilson is that the Steelers, even though the offense coordinator is different, but the Steelers can kind of give Russell Wilson the sense of that kind of off script playmaking that he's comfortable doing. I think
This
Sean
is his
Payton is
offense,
way.
man.
Yes, I think Sean Payton. Russell Wilson is not going to be Seattle Russell. I think we got to let that go out of our mind.
yeah,
But
I agree.
I, but I do
I don't
think,
think he has to be.
and I don't think
I'm
he has to
sorry.
be.
Well, I gotta let y'all talk
But
till it's my turn. My bad.
no, you good. But I do think that him getting this off script, letting him kind of freelance it, I think is going to make him comfortable, and I think we're going to see what we thought we were going to see in Denver. Sean Payton's is calculated. Everything is calculated with Sean Payton. Look how
That
he
is true.
was. Look how he was with Drew Brees, and even look how he was when he was a coordinator for the Cowboys. You had certain quarterbacks that just you got to play within the system, and that's never been Russell's game. So I think
No,
we'll get a little sense of old Russ, flash here and there. And again, because he doesn't have to play hero ball, because of the defense that he got, because I put Pittsburgh's defense ahead of Brown's defense. So because of that's more so the back end. Because I know they got Miles Garrett, but the back end for the Steelers is better than the back end for the Browns, in my opinion. So I put that over them. The running game is probably par for par. As Nick Chubb comes back and being who
Hmm.
he is, that's probably par for par. But I would have more of questions with Deshaun right now than Russell because I feel like Russell doesn't have to do as much as Deshaun has to do. Deshaun got to be Deshaun for that Browns offense to click, to
And
work.
that, and
And all their investment is in him. So that's why I said I would put them fourth. But again, like Max said, is more so. I ain't saying fourth like they're gonna be trash because I feel like everybody in this division is gonna be good, barring injury.
now
Okay.
I'm not mad at you, because not only does Deshaun Watson has to be, what he was in Houston, but their receiving core is not really all that strong. Yeah, you got Coop. Cooper's holding out for more money right now. Jerry Judy, he needs to have a rebound career in Cleveland. And I think he'll probably be the number 3 option when it comes to passing the football because you still got David Njoku there. But even with that, he won't be the 3rd most important skill position player there because you still got Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb was coming off an injury. So um, Cleveland could end up in 4th place. They really, really could.
Yeah, that and I'm not disputing that because well, I say this is kind of a I'm going with Pittsburgh as my 4th team, but
Right.
it could easily be Cleveland. I'm not finna sit up here and take a crap on Pittsburgh because we could see some freelancing from Russell Wilson, which in turn makes them a little bit more dangerous to contain on that offense. Because the defense, Pittsburgh's defense is already, they've played well. They've played well. They've even in bad years, they've had good defenses. So we're not worried about that side of the ball. We're worried about the productivity of the offense. And like Max said, Russell Wilson doesn't have to win the games. He just got to not lose them. And I agree with that sentiment. Steve sent me his picks. He's not able to join us tonight, but Steve, he chose Pittsburgh as his 4th place team too.
Well, I'm telling y'all, I can't wait till I discuss my picks when I finally get to zero into to Pittsburgh. I'm trying not to give out all my little gems of what I'm gonna say, but yeah, but it's just you guys see, man. I'm telling you, this is the year. And okay, we're on the 4th pick, so never mind. I said Cincinnati, so whenever we move to 3rd, we go to 3rd. I'll talk about my 3rd pick later.
Actually, we're on the 3rd pick right now, and you're up.
We're
So,
3rd pick. Okay, I say Cleveland. I say Cleveland. I think Cleveland. I think Cleveland is 3rd. I think that defense is going to be well enough and do well enough. No bullshit. That defense can play. I mean, you catch them on a really good game, they can play lights out. I just think Garrett gets to the ball like nobody else. I think Garrett's going to be, he keep his head on, man, and play like he played, and no injuries. I think that's a Hall of Famer right there in the making. I just really do. But and I still do not believe in Deshaun Watson. I didn't when he was at the Texans. I didn't when I don't now. If Cleveland's going to have to depend on Deshaun Watson, I think they will. I just I haven't seen it. I think he had some. I think he had some moments here and there, but unless he plays 20 years like Brett Favre, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. And not only that, it's Cleveland. So I said this last year, and I'm saying it again. I just depend on Cleveland to Cleveland it. That's it, man.
you're not the
That's the
first
only way,
person to say that. You
that's
are
the
not
only
the
way to
first
describe it.
person.
I just depend on Cleveland to eventually Cleveland it. That's it. They gonna do it, man. I'm telling you.
That's
Mac,
crazy,
you're not the
man.
first person to say that at all. You are not the first person.
They,
Now,
they're
hey,
gonna
listen,
do it.
We're gonna
hey,
please.
listen, hey,
They're gonna find a way to give away some games. That they just will. I don't know.
Now with that, with what you saying that,
we
I'm
hear
gonna
that
go
from
with
Ravens fans.
yeah. What you saying, Mac. I'm gonna go, and I have Cleveland as my 3rd team too. But the caveat that
Wait,
I
say
have
that
with
again. It
that
got
is
quiet. I didn't hear.
what? I'm sorry,
I didn't.
but
I didn't hear Brandon.
Oh no,
oh,
I was saying that Ravens fans. We know some Ravens fans will say the same thing about Cleveland. Cleveland just going to
Hmm.
Cleveland there.
That's
no,
it.
I don't think that's just in the division. I think everybody says that in the
That's
league
it.
about Cleveland.
That's it, man. They just
Yeah,
gonna find a way to give away a few
Cleveland go
a few
Cleveland.
big games. That's it.
Because you take out the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers, then you go down to Houston and get your tail blown out the water It's like Cleveland go Cleveland.
They're
So
just gonna find a way to do it, man.
with that being said, I have Cleveland as my third team too. Now, with that caveat, here's the thing. Okay. Deshaun Watson is kind of in the same boat as Russell Wilson. He don't have to win games. He just got to not lose them. That's it.
He
Because
doesn't have
Cleveland
the
got to the playoffs.
discipline.
He got to the
Okay.
playoffs.
Oh,
The Browns got to the playoffs with no Deshaun Watson. I
right.
mean,
They
so
they're gonna have
And
to
no
do it
Nick
again.
Chubb.
but what we can say that Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback on that roster right now. Well, he may not be what we want him to be or what he think he is, but he's the best quarterback on that roster.
Yeah,
So
because it's him or Jameis Winston.
yeah, no, I
Oh,
still got
jeez.
Deshaun Watson over
Oh,
Jameis.
bro. Yeah. Well, yeah.
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 So
Definitely.
it's the same thing. Like Deshaun doesn't have to win games. He just got to not lose them for Cleveland because that defense is so good and that running game is so good. He just got to not screw it up. That's all.
But
So
here's the
we'll
deal.
see. He was
Can,
injured last year. We'll see. So that's my number
but
3.
I think the Ravens and certainly us have made moves to stop running games better. So I think that's going to hurt Cleveland long. I really do. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when we get to our next two picks. So
Okay. So Tristan, who you have for your number 3?
So this one's even harder because I feel like I gotta say Pittsburgh 3. And the
Okay.
reason why I say Pittsburgh 3 is similar reason to the Browns, but to a lesser degree. Because though I feel more confident in what the Steelers will do with Russell than with what I see with the Browns, I still think that there's still that unknown factor with Russell. And because of that, I'm not putting that position over a healthy Joe Burrow and a healthy Lamar Jackson. Can't do it. So that's the sole reason for me putting Pittsburgh third.
Okay. All right. Brandon.
I too have Cleveland at number 3. Their defense is top 5, man. Their defense is top 5. Jim Schwartz has changed that defense around a lot last season, compared to the previous defensive coordinator. Um, I wonder how good they're going to be with a new offensive line coach because Bill Callahan is no longer there. He's in Tennessee with his son Brian. Um, Bill Callahan knows offensive linemen almost as good as anyone in the league. Um, he's known as running game Moses amongst Cowboys Nation. Maybe not the entire nation, but so a few Cowboy fans know him as Run Game Moses. So I wonder if they take somewhat of a step back with losing him. Um, I gotta see what happens with this receiver corps. 'Cause like I said, Cooper's holding out. Jerry Judy definitely needs to rebound. So the only person who, and he's not a receiver, he's a tight end. The only person who's guaranteed to do something right now is David Njoku, and you got Chubb coming back off a torn ACL, and this is second time getting injured. So, uh, I got Cleveland number 3 though. I trust Watson just a tad bit more than Russell Wilson right now, tad bit more.
Okay. All right. So moving on to our number 2 pick. Mac, you are up. Your number 2 team in the division.
okay. Now this is injury dependent. Now, of course, everything is injury dependent. I do have I do have us probably finishing 2. I will say that I have us finishing 2, but I think it's going to be a close 2, and I don't think it's going to be because of what happens within our division. I think we have some other games that I'm a little worried about, and I think slow start or whatever. But however, I see us I see us as not having the problem with you guys, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. Again, I'm gonna say it again. He doesn't have to win the game for us. Boy, he absolutely does not. I see the offense that he's about to run. This is his offense right here. What play action, big passes, play action run. He has a run game now, a legitimate threat in the run game. I mean, two basically. And Harris is in the contract year, so he has to perform. He has to perform like he played towards the end of the year all year because I think he was outplayed quite of the year, most of the year. Though now my concerns, of course, as always, are going to be injury. Specifically, Watt, he's 30 years old, he's been injured 7 times. I am concerned about that. Two, I'm also concerned about Pickens. I'm concerned about him taking plays off. I'm concerned about stuff like that. I'm concerned about him developing into the locker room that's a problem if things start going bad or he don't get the looks that he wants to. So these are some concerns. These are some internal concerns for me, injuries, all that. But I just see us having brought in Queen, having brought in our line, just revamping the line. Man, those two picks for the line, wonderful. The offense that we're going into, and you have who I thought would be a breakout, much more of a contributor last year. I think he's going to get a big chance. Washington at tight end, coming in with double tight end, a lot of double tight end sets. You got a guy that's 6'7", 280, 209. I just see him developing into more of a weapon than what he's been used to. Uh, our defense is lights out. I just think now we've adjusted to where we can, hopefully we can play better against the run. I really think our run stopping game is going to be way off, way up there now. So I see us that I do see us having some challenges with some other teams. I'm a little concerned about some things that the Ravens have and they can do as far as that kind of causes, especially when Jackson is on his game, kind of causes our defensive problems and all that stuff. But hey man, I see us finishing a close second. I see it coming down, and I haven't looked at the schedule. I'm wondering if we play them last game. We usually play them like the last game or two of the year, but I see it coming down to like that last game or two. Again, who wins it? But I really do think that this division is going to be above everyone else. But I see us two. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to us going deep into the playoffs this year. I really feel like we have the squad, barring injury, to do that. So anyway.
Okay. Mac, we know you got to go. You say you had to bug out at about 9 o'clock. So you're saying that Baltimore is going to be number one in the division.
You,
And
yeah,
tell us before you go, tell us a little bit why.
it breaks my heart to say it. I just, I still think that we have another year or two. I think we need a couple more pieces to be. I do think that we'll probably split games with Baltimore. I think there's some other teams that might give us some issues, and I just don't like the way we have this habit. And I don't care how good we are, and it's been that way for 10 to 15 years. We play down to teams. And until I see that successfully addressed, I think we're gonna drop some games that we should win. I mean, we do it every year, and I'm concerned about that. I'm always concerned about that. But I think that's gonna come down, and it always does every season. I think that's gonna come down and make the difference. But it just is what it is. So,
All right,
but
Bill.
no. And that's the only reason why I'm saying Baltimore because I see us blowing winning the division. Not so much that they deserve it. I just think I see us doing it. But I do think Lamar Jackson is a he's a generational player. I think he's going to be trying to come back. I think they got Henry and if Henry comes in and I've been watching some of his training videos. Henry comes in and plays his style of football. I think with him and Lamar, I think that's going to eat up a lot of clock. I think that's going to test defenses down a long run. Uh, so we'll see with Lamar Jackson and Henry, that's going to be a problem, and that's just all it is to it.
Okay, so last year you had in this order from number one to number four, because
Yeah, I
Mac
know.
was a guest on our show last year. Last year, Mac had Cincinnati number one, they finished fourth. He had Pittsburgh number two, they finished third. He had Cleveland number four, they finished second, and he had Baltimore number three, and they finished first.
injuries,
And don't
and
don't
that's
worry, man. We were wrong too about a lot of stuff. We're gonna put
oh
ourselves on
yeah,
blast too in a
oh
minute.
yeah, yeah,
These
yeah,
these picks are
that
all over the place from last year.
yeah.
So thanks for
Uh,
coming on, bro. We appreciate you. And
well, I want to hear. Wait, I gotta say, I want to hear a couple of y'all picks. Well, go ahead. Where
okay,
y'all
okay,
at
okay.
on number
I know
two?
you
Yeah,
said I didn't know if you
I
had
do.
time or not. Okay,
I do.
all right. So
Yeah, I want to
Brandon,
hear over there.
give us your number 2, Brandon.
Number 2, I got Cincinnati. I'm assuming Joe Burrow's gonna be healthy. Eventually, they're going to get at least Jamar Chase resigned to a new contract. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with T. Higgins and his contract. The deadline is July 15th. You're talking about a month. Well, today's over, so a month and 2 more days. Um, so we'll see what that looks like in the middle of July. But I mean, other than that, though, I just think that it's still enough to be number 2. Like I said, that defense is solid under the defensive coordinator. His first name is Lou. I can't pronounce his last name, but um, yeah, man. I got Cincinnati number 2. It's just more stable
Yeah,
all the way around
yeah.
than Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and that's the reason why I got them at number 2.
And I agree with that. I have Cincinnati number 2 for the same reason. Um, it's just more stability there. They added I want to say they added Von Bell and another safety to make up for the losses that they had at safety last year. Um, and Trent Brown is on the offensive line now. Um, I think the way that offense is designed, Joe Mixon is good. So I'm not besmirching his name at all, but I think the running game's still going to be productive. Like you said, Brandon, I think that Jamar Chase gets his deal done. T. Higgins is still on the franchise tag. He's going to have to play or he's going to get fined, one or the other, you know. So I have not Cleveland, Cincinnati, as the number 2 team in the division. And who knows what can happen if they are healthy and Joe Burrow is able to stay healthy. Because last year I had Cleveland. I keep saying Cleveland. I had Cincinnati as my number 1 team, and they finished last simply because Joe Burrow's injury.
Now,
So I think that they can. I think that they can get the wild card in this particular division. One of the wild cards. I still believe that there's going to be 2 wild cards coming out of this division. Tristan.
hold on. Before Tristan start, let me just correct you on one thing. T. Higgins is not subject to fines, even though he's on the franchise tag, because he has not signed the franchise tag.
Thank you for correcting me on that. All right, so
You
he
got
hadn't
to sign
signed
the
it yet.
franchise. You got to sign
I
that
did.
franchise tag.
I did not know he didn't sign that tender. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think they'll figure something out with T. Higgins. I think he'll be there, albeit late, but I think he'll be there. Tristan, what do you got?
I got Cincinnati at 2. Similar reasons. I'm talking show. Similar reasons. I got Cincinnati at 2 for similar reasons. Just with Joe Burrow, albeit Joe Burrow being healthy. I do think they'll miss Joe Mixon a little bit, but I do think the offense will be productive still. But like I said, a healthy Joe Burrow. Last time we saw Joe Burrow fully healthy, man, was in the Super Bowl. So I'm just gonna put my bank on Joe Burrow being healthy, but they just won't be better than my obvious number 1. So
Okay, all right. So we're all the way across the board with Cincinnati except for Mac. And that means pretty much we have a consensus that the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the AFC North. I believe the addition of Derrick Henry is a huge problem, provided that the offensive coordinator actually uses Derrick Henry in pivotal points of the season, because they could have easily won against Kansas City had they decided to run the ball and not completely abandon the run. I don't know what it is about teams.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about teams when they see Kansas City that they just want to stop running the ball. Stop trying to duel with Pat Mahomes and keep him off the field by running the ball.
Thank you.
It's that simple.
Thank
People
you.
don't do that. And
Thank
the
you.
offensive coordinator in Baltimore, you didn't need Derrick Henry to beat Kansas City.
You
You could
didn't.
have had Gus Edwards and the other back and just ran the ball and could have beaten Kansas City. So, I mean, provided they got Derrick Henry, but they got to use Derrick Henry. This can't be an MVP season for the Lamar Jackson if they want to go to the Super Bowl. This needs to be a balanced offense. Lamar Jackson needs to do just okay and balance that offense. The problem
What I've no-
has been in the past that the offense has never been balanced in Baltimore. It's always we go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and then Lamar do something on third down. Or is
wh-
okay, this year is we're gonna sling it all over the damn yard and we're gonna just abandon the run. It's got to be balanced. If Baltimore wants, I'm talking about beyond this division. I'm talking about for the conference. They got to balance that offense. Go ahead, Tristan.
what I've noticed in general, and I think this is a league wide thing that some of these teams need to understand and do better with, is when a team has a quote unquote franchise QB, um, they have someone that they can compete with to that height or what have you. They think they can out their QB can outgun the other QB. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on.
All right. Well, all right. So he stepped away. Let me go do my number one real quick. I mean, of course, it's Baltimore. Baltimore. Listen. They did bring in Derrick Henry. We know that. Um, I forgot that their fullback Alan Reichert is 305 pounds. They have a 305-pound fullback that can lead block for Derrick Henry.
That's a
They
problem.
they also have a center in Tyler Linderbaum at 292 pounds, who is one of the best centers in the league already. I think he's going into his third season. Okay. So not only can they do their typical spread stuff, but they can truly go old school and run up a gap with no problems because you got Linderbaum at center. You got a 305-pound fullback that can lead the way for Derrick Henry. And you got this mobile quarterback that can hit the back door on a defense like Lamar Jackson. There are going to be a ton of if Baltimore plays their cards right, and this is me, and I know Monk is the offense coordinator. I think he did good with Lamar Jackson. If this was me, I would run a lot of two wide receivers, two running backs, one tight end with Mark Andrews at tight end. He doesn't have to be a true inline tight end. He can be a slot tight end, but I will run that a lot because, like I said, you can run up a gap and really challenge teams to be disciplined on defense as far as their gap integrity because you're going to be so concerned with Derrick Henry running play side and Lamar Jackson, like I said, can come out backside. A lot of defenses are not going to be able to contain that. They're not going to be able to contain that. Now, I think an underrated loss for Baltimore is going to be losing their defensive coordinator Mike McDonald to Seattle, who's now the head coach. They did promote a guy from within, so the scheme remains the same, but the play calling is going to be different because each play caller to me is just different and how they do things and how they view stuff. But I still think it's just enough for Baltimore to still remain number one. And I said it on the podcast last year when Lamar was moving around in the pocket and keeping his eyes downfield. If you hold on to the football for 8 to 10 seconds and then throwing the ball and make a play, that's a problem. Because now your defense getting tired because they're not able to get to Lamar Jackson. Your defense gonna be tired trying to tackle Derrick Henry. Good luck to you this year. You're really going to have a lot of depth, rotation, and you're going to have a very disciplined defense, and everyone doesn't have that.
Well, another thing you have to look at is that will he make the right calls to have that type of you were very profound in what you were saying, Brandon, about what the scheme should look like with the personnel that they have. Question is, will they run said that type of scheme with or make the right calls at the right time in with that type of personnel? If they can, then they're gonna be a problem for the entire conference, the entire league.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm just my mind just goes back to this playoff game against Kansas City, and I'm going, why aren't they running the ball? Why aren't they running the ball? When they do run the
But
ball, they have success, but they're not running it.
but you know what though, Trishan was right. And what he was leading off trying what his grades say as far as teams always trying to outdo a franchise quarterback. You Patrick Mahomes, and it was like this even with Tom Brady. You're gonna have a difficult time
Stop trying to do
going
it.
toe to toe
Yeah,
with a quarterback.
yeah.
Everyone can't do that, man. You teams really need to learn how to build a roster, and they don't know how to build. And I said it again. I'm gonna keep saying this. You got to learn how to scout, draft, and develop.
And it's not even about building a roster or anything like that. It's just making the right decisions at the right time. When you have a generational talent, I know Tristan hates that term, but when you have a generational talent like a Pat Mahomes, okay, I know the Ravens are probably thinking, well, we got a generational talent too with Lamar Jackson, blah 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 blah. Like that. Uh, you know, still the best way to shut down a really, really, really good quarterback is to play defense and then keep him off the field. Play ball control. Because someone like a Pat Mahomes, he just need a few seconds and a couple of timeouts and a one score game, and he's gonna do you. You know. So Baltimore had that game in hand had they made the right decisions. So yes, you got Derrick Henry now. You got a 300-pound fullback. That's great. But are you gonna make the right calls at the right time? Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying Baltimore's not gonna win this division. I think they're gonna win this division handily. And I still think the other three teams in this division are pretty good.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So,
But
so,
but,
so, okay.
but it comes down when you're on this level, when you're on a tier of a Baltimore Ravens, when you're on a tier of a I don't know of Dallas, of Philadelphia, San Francisco, when you're in that tier of team, the conversation should not be about winning the division anymore. It should be about what are you going to do to get to that next step, to get over that next hump. And that's my knock on Baltimore. So I'm going to leave it at that. I do think Baltimore, I think all the way across the board, because Steve did say Baltimore would win in his picks as well. He had Cincinnati second, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, which is identical to me and Brandon. Our picks are the exact same.
Okay.
But I'm not saying they're not going to win a division, but the thing is that they got now their mind has to go beyond. Okay, what are we going to do now that we didn't win the division? That's the thing. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Go ahead,
But
Tristan.
So yes, we're all saying the same thing in regards to the Ravens, being number one. I agree with a lot of what you said. I just wanted to piggyback on what I was saying before, and you guys elaborated on it pretty well. The problem when these coaches think they got that guy that can go toe to toe. So right now, Patrick Mahomes is the creme de la creme. You feel you got a guy that can go toe to toe with him because your guy is special, and I think that's we've seen each generation kind of deal with the one QB that was an outlier, and then okay, and you got teams that have that one outlier player at the quarterback position, and then all the other teams, yes, all the other teams got really good quarterbacks. There's really good quarterbacks, and then there's Patrick Mahomes. So how I look at it, as far as differentiating, is with Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't really have a flaw. When he first came into the league, they were like he's wild. Is an incredible arm talent, but he's wild with it. So you don't know what you're getting. So it's kind of like Rain Man with him. What happened was that he took his time under Alex Smith, who's one of the smarter QBs that have come through, just as far as like intelligence. It might have not always translated supremely, but you want a guy that understands the offensive concepts and can run it.
Yep.
Alex Smith is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to learn under that, and then he even admitted that he didn't understand defenses like that until like what, his second, third season. So you
Right.
took a guy that was already supremely talented, a guy that's underrated as an athlete, knows when to pick his spots, has an incredible arm, but knows when to pull it back, and knows when to make the necessary, gunslinger throws, and has that kind of clutch gene where you like, oh, you gave me how much time on the clock? Oh, okay, watch this. So you have a guy that's like that. Now with all the other outlier QBs, all the really good QBs, he's the outlier. All the really good QBs, I put Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, because they're all gifted, all really, really good, but you can always see a flaw in their game.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow can't stay healthy. That's his biggest thing. His body's made of glass right now. That's the biggest thing that we see with Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson sometimes struggled throwing outside the numbers. You put him in a situation where he has to dart it in the flat or something. It's not even the fact that he don't have the arm for it. It's for whatever reason he'll pause before he does it, and I don't know what that is. Josh Allen makes boneheaded gunslinger decisions.
Yep.
Justin Herbert doesn't seem to have the clutch gene to close out the game when you need him to close out the game. You can name the flaws of all the guys that they would consider in that kind of tier of quarterback with Pat Mahomes. So that's why it's like it's Pat Mahomes then everybody else. Just like when they used to say it's Michael Jordan and everybody else. You got really, 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 really good players, probably potentially future Hall of Famers, but they ain't Pat Mahomes. And that was the era. We had the Tom Brady era. You had Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, all these cats, really, really good QBs, Hall of Famers. They weren't Tom Brady. So it's
Exactly.
just that's what you're dealing with in this era. It's him and everybody else. But when you have a coach that's arrogant, I'm sorry, I know I'm sounding long-winded with this, but when you have a coach that's arrogant and feels that, well, I got a Justin Herbert, I got a Josh Allen, I got a Lamar Jackson, I got a Joe Burrow, I can go ahead and just go toe-to-toe with this cat and may the best QB win. Well, the best QB always ends up winning, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
At the end of the
Yep.
day, it really does.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I always keep receipts. So let's talk about our picks from last year and
Okay.
how they lined up. And I'm not gonna throw shade because um I was kind of off on mine. So I'm gonna start with me first. And then I'm gonna talk about Tristan, Brandon, and Steve's pick. So last year for the AFC North, I picked Cincinnati to win the division. They finished fourth. Okay. Now granted, Joe Burrow got
Joe
hurt.
Burrow got hurt.
Joe
Yep.
Burrow got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I picked Baltimore to finish second because of Cincinnati, because I still believe there's a power shift in the AFC North. Baltimore finished first. I picked Pittsburgh to finish third, and they did. And I picked Cleveland to finish fourth, and they didn't. They finished second. So that was interesting. Brandon agreed with me. He picked Baltimore to finish second. You was just like Clark was just waiting to talk about power shifts, wasn't he? He just waiting. He just lurking. Anyway, so Brandon picked Baltimore second. They came in first. He picked Cincinnati first. They came in fourth. He picked Pittsburgh third. They came in third. Let me go ahead and say this. All of us picked Pittsburgh third last year, and they finished third. So we all got that one right. Um, all of us picked Cleveland fourth last year, and they finished second.
It's crazy.
So we did not do well on those picks. And we here on Just a Fan Podcast, we're not like a lot of other platforms, or whether they're on TV or on the internet, where they don't talk about how wrong they were. We're going to own up to it when we're wrong. that we have integrity here. So we severely dropped the ball on our picks for the
I mean, Joe
AFC
Burrow got
North.
hurt though.
Huh?
Joe Burrow did
Joe
get
Burrow
hurt.
got hurt.
And Joe Burrow got hurt. So, but I'm not gonna make excuses. You're right, Tristan. Joe Burrow did
That's
get
my
hurt.
excuse. Joe Burrow got hurt.
Yeah, because when we get to next week when we talk about the AFC East, you should see our picks from last year then. But
Oh
God.
Jesus!
Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
I think I remember. I think I
But
remember it.
that's for next week, which kind of segues us on our way out of here. As you saw, we had our brother Mac Mitchell on. He was on last year. He was
Appreciate
on
you, Mac.
tonight. Shout out to Mac Mitchell for coming on and representing
Yeah.
the Steelers. We still have our open call for guests on the show. Next week, we will be covering the AFC East. That's the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots next week. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, if you're a fan of one of these teams, please let us know. Hit us in the inbox on any of our platforms, any of them. Say, hey, I want to be a guest on the show. If you're a content creator, or if you're not, you're just a fan, because we're just fans. And you're just fans, and we want to talk about football. But let us know. But you got to know what you're talking about when you come on here. So with that being said, Brandon, can you tell everybody what platforms we on, and could you please subscribe?
Yes. All right. So we are live currently on YouTube. So please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. Hit the notification bell. And when you hit that bell, click on the word all, so that way you can always catch our shows directly on time. Okay. Please share it as well. You can share it anywhere. You can share it via email, text message, put it on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, we're also live on Twitter right now. And I'm not calling it X. I don't care. We're also live on Facebook. I know. I mean, I don't care. And we're also live on Twitch. Okay. You can follow us on TikTok. We have 199 subscribers on TikTok. Can someone get us to 200, please? On TikTok?
200 on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, we have 199. Can we get one more, please?
We gonna
Appreciate
try.
it. You can also follow us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay. You can listen to us on Google, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. That direction. The quarterback of the show, Trish TV. Always holding it down for us. Down south. Coming straight out of Houston, Texas.
Still tipping on four foes.
I used to call it Run and Shoot City because a lot of teams ran the run and shoot offense. Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. And yeah, still misses Trent Baalke.
I hate Trent Baalke.
But I am Coach Williams, the Wildcat quarterback that runs the show, the NFL Encyclopedia. Double A got blitz. Good night, y'all. Peace.
I don't like Trent Baalke. I really don't.
Hold on. There you go.
I don't like Trent Baalke.